الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله. الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله على ما أنعمت وأوليت يا رب العالمين. اللهم كما أنعمت فأدم وزدنا من نعمك واجعلنا من الشاكرين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله، أرسله رحمة للعالمين وهدى وبشرى للمحسنين، فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة، تركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. فصل اللهم عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه واتبع سنته واقتفى أثره بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فيقول ربنا سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز: إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. وقال أيضا: إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Allah the Almighty says in His book, they were youth, believed in their Lord, and we increased them in guidance. And in another surah He said subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will never change the situation of a nation or people until they change what within themselves. So we are all longing for change, to make our life better, probably our house bigger, our car better, our job better, our kids, and so on and so forth. Whether we are talking about social things or economical things or political things, and you name it, we are always longing for the change. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very clear that He will never change the situation of any nation, any people, any group, any individuals until they change what within themselves. And the relevancy between this ayah and Surah Al-Kahf, which we recite according to the Sunnah every Thursday night or Friday. In that very surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the story of the people of the cave. And the people of the cave were youth, youngsters, which is the core of any change. Our future lies in the hands of our children, whether we like it or not. This is reality and this is the fact. And I was reflecting upon the prophetic society, imagining the Prophet ﷺ sitting in the mosque and around him the companions. And where are the youth? I can tell you. Abdullah bin Umar, young boy amongst the companions, was very keen to be very close to the Prophet to learn from him. Abdullah bin Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, as well, very young in their teens. Ali, he was 12 when he embraced Islam, or some narration says he was even 8. Zayd bin Thabit, Anas bin Malik, all and many others, youngsters around the Prophet ﷺ, learning from him, reflecting upon what he's saying, embracing what he's saying, motivated by what he's saying alayhi salatu wasalam, loving the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, loving his teaching sallallahu alayhi wasallam, copying, emulating his character. And those very companions led the change afterwards, changed the course of the history afterwards. These youngsters, radiallahu ta'ala anhum. So if we are longing for any change in our society, we have to focus on our children, which is not a rocket science or brain surgery. It's very clear, very obvious that this is what we should be doing. Next week will be the break of all schools. We have this summer, and every summer we have the same thing. Why don't we create a program for our children to invest in our future through our children? Motivational programs, creative programs, not boring programs. Of course, if you were to compare khutbah in the masjid or a lesson in the masjid with the Fortnite game which our kids are playing, or Call of Duty, which I hate, and other games and so on and so forth, it is boring for them. So what can we do to make our teachings, our approach creative, not to make them die of boredom? We need to be creative. And as Allah mentioned in the Quran, that حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانَ وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. He made Iman beloved to you and beautified it in your hearts. So although Iman has its sweetness, but we need to present it in a good way. We need to be creative in our presentation, in our approach. Otherwise, there are other competitors there competing with us in attracting our children. So it's our mission, our duty, to invest in our future, in our children. Number one, we need good role models. The Prophet was, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the role model for the companions and is the role model for the ummah till the day of judgment, alayhi salatu wassalam. So we need to educate our children more about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his character. So let it be a short program about the seerah and the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I usually advise to read the summary of Ash-Shama'il al-Muhammadiyya or Zahr al-Khama'il by Imam al-Suyuti, which is around the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not necessarily to go through the seerah, 600 pages, but there are plenty of summaries of the seerah which gives you the flavor of the seerah, the sweetness of his life sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not necessarily through the battles which he went through sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is not the seerah. This is one part of the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So 23 years after the revelation, the battles and expeditions and stuff like that, it will not cover, if you were to sum it up, put it all together, it won't exceed 1 year, if you were very generous. What about the 22 years? So if we want to teach seerah, let's not focus on the battles. Of course we go through it, but this is not the main focus. So we need a role model. We need to learn more about the Prophet ﷺ. We need to have the connection with the Quran, the source of revelation, to connect ourselves and our children with this very Quran. Wherever we go, the Quran is our guidance. So we need to establish and improve and maintain the relationship between us and the Quran. Focusing on tajweed and pronunciation is pretty much important and good, but we need to go beyond this. Understanding. You recite Al-Fatiha, go through the meaning of Al-Fatiha. We recite the short surahs, go through the meanings of the short surahs. A very short booklet from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which we all probably know and some of us memorized it. The 40 Nawawiyah by Imam al-Nawawi. As well, we can go through this with our children. We can have a summary for that, although it's already short, but we can select some narrations and go through it with our children. Every single narration is a reflection of one of the pillars in Islam, be it in social life, be it in economical stuff, be it in purity and sincerity and ikhlas and the intention, you name it. So we can learn from this with our children. So we need role models, we need programs, as well as we need motivation and creativity. It's not enough to have programs and we cannot deliver it in a creative way. So we need to create some programs with new approach. We see every time this company or that company release a new phone, they have new features. Why? Because they want people to be attracted. They want them to come and buy their products. But when we deliver, we have to have new features. We have to have new stuff introduced to our children, to our community, to attract them. And this is going under the ayah. زينا حبب إليكم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبكم. So he made Iman beloved to you and he beautified it. So we need to beautify the presentation. We need to make it attractive. And this is so important. So when we read the story of the people of the cave, we learn as well that with their energy, with the youth, they were able to do anything wrong or right, but they have chosen to do the right thing. And Allah has mentioned subhanahu wa ta'ala the firmness, sabat ala al-haq, the firmness on the truth, which is a very rare currency these days. You find every other day somebody just retrieving from the truth and just shunning away from the truth because he's escaping the prison, he's escaping confrontation, he's escaping what have you. They were not afraid. They tried their best. They carried the truth, defended the truth until they felt they are under threat. Then they went to the cave to protect their deen and their dignity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them in the Quran the story which we recite every week, regardless of their names. This is not the issue, the concept. So we need this firmness, we need this strong iman which makes us carry our message and we are proud of whom we are. Our identity as Muslims. We are not afraid to be Muslims, especially in this day and age where accusations are from right, left and center, everywhere. So creating a good role model for our children, good programs, motivation and creativity in our presentation will be our way forward, inshallah ta'ala, to invest in the summer holidays with our children. And do not underestimate the energy of the youth. The energy of the youth needs to be channeled and directed with the wisdom of our elders. These two together can do the change which we are after. But energy without direction can create problems more than solutions. So we need the energy to be directed and channeled by the wisdom and the creativity of our elders and our teachers and our scholars and so on. And I mean we need to come together, not only the scholars in religion, we need as well people in IT, people in creativity, people in art to come together to create such programs attractive to our children. The old days about just reading from the book, it's the past. We are now in the future. We need to move on. If we are not recognizing that we have a new trend now, we will lose out. Like Toys R Us, they couldn't understand that the market now has changed. They closed because they didn't understand there's a new game now. And if we are not understanding that now we have a new trend attracting our children, then we are losing. But the difference is, if you are a company, you dismiss the people whom they work, your employees, but you cannot dismiss your children. They are your children, you cannot. Then we have to come up with solutions before it's too late. And this is the time for reflection, summer, and time for action as well. So let's make this summer, inshallah ta'ala, active summer, productive summer, fruitful summer, and inshallah, it's the first step towards the change which we are after. Ameen. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiy al-Mustafa wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man bi'ahdihi wafa. We are in the month of Dhul Qa'dah, which is one of the Al-Ashhur al-Hurum, prohibited month or sacred month. And we know that we have 4 sacred months: Dhul Qa'dah, which is this month, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram. And these are the months for Hajj. Although the month for Hajj starts from Shawwal, Al-Hajj Ashhurun Ma'lumat, as Umar commented on the ayah. So Hajj is in a specific month, and it starts in Shawwal. But these 3 months, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram, are prohibited months. It means it has a special treatment and special reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's increase our good deeds and control our actions, our intentions in this month and in every other month as well. Every month, not just in this month. Because the reward will be multiplied, hopefully, inshallah, in this month. And the Prophet ﷺ, by the way, he made 4 umrahs, as Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrated in Bukhari and Muslim, and as Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha narrated in Sahih Muslim, that he made 4 umrahs sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All these 4 umrahs were in Dhul Qa'dah, like this month. All his 4 umrahs he performed sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Dhul Qa'dah. Of course, for those who are preparing for Hajj, alhamdulillah, good news. Make the most of it. Prepare as much as you can, not only for the journey, but as well for the spiritual connection which you will get, inshallah, in Hajj. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to be closer to Him in this very special month and throughout the year. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to enable us to change our reality, to invest in our children, and be creative and be good role models for our children. Ameen. Allahumma ya Rabbi ya Rahman, ya badi'a as-samawati wal-ard, ya dhal jalali wal-ikram. Allahumma inna nas'aluka an tuhawwila halana ila ahsan. Allahumma hawwil halana ila ahsan. Allahumma hawwil halana ila ahsan. اللهم إنا نسألك أن ترزقنا حسن التوكل عليك وحسن الإقبال إليك وحسن الظن بك وحسن الخاتمة. اللهم إنا نسألك يا الله يا الله يا الله أن تربي لنا أبناءنا التربية الصالحة يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلهم جيل التغيير يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلهم جيل التغيير يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلهم جيل التغيير يا رب العالمين. اللهم ردنا إليك ردا جميلا، اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا مولانا رب العالمين. فرج الكرب عن المكروبين ونفس الهم عن المهمومين. كن مع إخواننا في فلسطين وفي الشام وفي العراق وفي اليمن وفي ليبيا وفي أفغانستان وفي كشمير وفي بورما وحيثما كان ظلم وقهر يا الله. فرج الكربات يا رب العالمين. صلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. اقتربوا الأمام وأبشروا إخواني.